Hi all, I'm Brianna Smith and I work in the science department at Brownsboro High School. I want to read for you The Texas Night Before Christmas, written and illustrated by James Rice. 'Twas the night before Christmas in the cold wintry fog. Nary a critter was moving nor a lone prairie dog. Then from out of the north the breeze gave a stir, an icy cold blast swirled the fog in a blur. A blue Texas norther roared over the plains, cold fairly whistled through loose window panes. I poked at the fireplace to stir up a flame. The embers glowed redder, but the cold stayed the same. Ma fixed up our dinner to be ready next day and thought about Christmas, few hours away. Our scuffed boots were assembled on the floor, pair by pair, where Santy would find 'em, for he soon would be there. The young'uns was bundled down snug in the covers, a sprite of a girl and her two older brothers. So me and my long johns and Ma in her gown warmed up by the fire before we laid ourselves down. Then from out on the range there came such a ruckus, I ran to the window to see what the fuss was. Through the blue winter blizzard a scene came to sight, squinted to see for there weren't much light. There, stomping and snorting and pawing the ground, were 8 scroungy longhorns stampeding around. In front of a wagon, piled full as could be with boxes and bundles, as high as a tree. Then her bellerin' yell soon set 'em all straight, from a fat little old ramrod who put fear they. Well, they weren't really scared, 'cause no harm would he cause, for their longhorn head honcho was old Santa Claus. He got their attention and called them by name. Hey, Leadfoot and Walleye, get up there, Kool-Aid. Come on, Gimp and Flop-Ear and Scarface, start dragging. Get on, Sam and High Hips. Let's move this here wagon. Old Leadfoot, he bellered and lifted his head. Then straight on they trampled through Ma's flower bed. They laid the gate flat and the clothesline went too. Nothing stood in their way as they flat-footed through. Sandy pulled 'em up short on top of the roof, after wrecking the porch with them clodhopper hoofs. They rocked our sot shanty and dirt sifted down. And then through the chimney Sandy came with a bound. He was dressed all in rawhide with a Stetson on top. His big Texas boots hit the floor with a clop. He shook his great belly and stomped with each foot, which knocked off a shower of mud, ash, and soot. His eyes were both squinty, his skin was like leather, from too much exposure from the raw Texas weather. He looked tough as a horseshoe, but I felt no alarm, 'cause a wink of his eye showed he'd do us no harm. A feed bag of toys he flung from his back, with nary a word he opened the sack. He filled all the boots and piled them up high, then looked out the window and up at the sky. The cold Texas norther still whistled and blew, but more young'uns was waiting, his work weren't through. It was hard just to leave and walk through the door, to face them all longhorns and cold as before. He drank some hot mud and hunched close to the heat, to soak up the warmth and thaw his cold feet. He could no longer dally or put off the chore, so he gave us a wink and pushed through the door. He prodded the longhorns to get on the go, and the wagon took off through the fog and the snow. He called over the norther before he went out of sight. Merry Christmas, y'all hear? And y'all have a good night.